Hello everyone and welcome to our first lesson in the theme of environmental issues. The lesson's name is Sea Pollution in Lebanon Approaching Dangerous Level. Of course, it's something we know, but this article gave us a lot of statistics and a lot of insight on what's going on, and it's a recent article. It is found on pages 18 to 21 in your ebook, the one that I sent to you. Okay, so this is by the end of this lecture, you will learn new ideas and concepts related to environmental issues, namely sea pollution in Lebanon. You will figure out the meanings of unfamiliar vocab words and terms related to the issue of water pollution. You will answer referential, inferential, and critical thinking questions related to the text about sea pollution, and you will answer organizational skills questions related to types of introduction, supporting evidence, which we discussed last time, patterns of organization, and types of audience. Before any lesson, I begin with vocab because many times in a text we have what are called blocking words. If you don't know this word, you cannot understand this paragraph or maybe this whole concept. So this is done to help you. I went through it with you in the previous video, but let me go through it again. Urban, as we said in the Zoom live session, relating to a large city. Beirut is an urban place. The opposite of that would be rural. Okay. Urbanization is the quality or state of being urbanized or becoming city-like. Like many of our towns and maybe our countryside or many of our villages, if you notice in the south or in different parts of Lebanon, they're becoming urban even though they are supposed to be countryside. Every place is becoming urbanized, so urbanization is increasing. Mediterranean Sea, the sea bordering Lebanon from the west. Please mind the spelling 1T and double R, and you have to capitalize the M and the S, Mediterranean Sea. Mitigation, making something less harmful. When you use, for example, eco-friendly vehicles that don't produce a lot of CO2, you are mitigating the problem of air pollution, alleviating it. Or when you take a Panadol, for example, you alleviate or you make better a headache or a certain pain or a fever. You see this a lot on medication packages. Okay, it's important to know. Coastline, the beach. Inevitable, something that is bound to happen no matter what you do. You cannot avoid it. Okay, global warming is inevitable. Failure is inevitable if you don't study. A toxin is a poison. Deteriorating, as you all know by now, becoming worse. The deteriorating conditions in the economy of Lebanon. The deteriorating conditions in the seas of Lebanon. Crisis, a very difficult situation or a catastrophe. Expatriates, as we said, are people of a country who live abroad, like those Lebanese who live in Africa, in South America and North America, Europe, etc. They are Lebanese, but they live abroad. Let's go to our text. Lesson 1, Sea Pollution in Lebanon Approaching Dangerous Levels. Beirut, with a 225-kilometer coastline on the Mediterranean, the beach is where the people in Lebanon often head when the summer heat intensifies. However, rampant pollution from illegal dump sites. Dump sites are places where garbage is dumped near the coast, and sewage pipelines, dirty water flowing into the sea, have deprived many of the relief of dipping into the water. Deprived, did not allow them, okay? Reports on social media warned beachgoers that the Lebanese coast was 100% polluted. This is according, of course, to social media. They said 100%. The comments were refused as fake news. You know how much there are, the huge amount of fake news on social media, and unjustified exaggeration. Okay, we know the beaches are polluted, but 100%? I doubt. Let's read on. by the National Council for Scientific Research. So the CNRS refuted this. They said, no, not 100% of our beaches are polluted. And its affiliated National Center for Marine Sciences. The word marine having to do with sea life, okay? Moving on, not the whole sea in Lebanon is polluted. The situation is very critical, dangerous, but it is not hopeless, said CNRC Secretary General Mouin Hamzi. We hear a lot about this guy, especially recently in the news, okay? Today we are at a crossroads. There are areas that are still acceptable within the minimum level and easy to remedy, but this does not mean there are no areas in a hopeless state. The sea is suffering, and unless it is protected from the sources of pollution, we will inevitably reach a disastrous situation, Hamzi said, as he revealed the results of the latest seawater observing study by the National Center for Marine Studies. The study selected here, so we have study results. The study selected 25 spots along the coast from which samples were taken regularly over 30 months. So this is a very careful study. It wasn't done like for a week, 30 months, and by a very credible institution, okay? At depths of 2 to 50 meters. The result indicated that 16 spots, first of all, they were 25 spots. 16 spots were not polluted, which is pretty good, and suitable for swimming. So out of these 25, we can swim in 16 spots. 4 were fairly acceptable, so that makes it 20, within the norms of the World Health Organization, and 5 were extremely polluted. So, making a quick mathematical formula, it's like 20% of Lebanese beaches, 5 out of 25, 20% are extremely polluted. You cannot swim in them. Let's see what they are. The study, which examined the harmful streptococci, the coliforms bacteria, we probably heard about this in biology, harmful, said several popular beaches, especially in Beirut and Tripoli, were unsafe for swimming. It did not include areas adjacent to factories, dump sites, and sewage pipes. Okay? So these areas were left out because it is common knowledge that they are highly polluted, Hamzi said. So obviously not all the beaches in Lebanon were polluted. 20% of those 25 spots were unsafe, the rest were safe, but they did not include the very dangerous sites near factories and dump sites because they already know that they are dangerous. Those are hopeless. These areas were left out because it's common knowledge, as we said, that they are highly polluted. No person in their sane mind would go and swim there. 7. The main sources of bacterial pollution in Lebanon are organic waste, like waste produced from food, from households, and sewage, and the sources of chemical pollution are factories and power plants adjacent to the coast or near rivers into which industrial waste is dumped and much of which ends in the sea. Power plants are, huge structures that produce power, mainly electricity. Okay, they're not plants. They are structures, okay? They're called power plants. So you have the Zahrani power plant, okay? Several power plants in Lebanon. Those produced a lot of toxic waste dumped into our seas. Paragraph 8, Paul Abi Rashid, founder of Terre Liban and president of the Lebanon Eco Movement, said the study was incomplete because it did not include the polluted areas, especially near dump sites, which produce leachate, a toxin liquid from decomposed waste that is 100% more dangerous than the sewers. So, according to Abi Rashid, this study is not complete because it needed to include all the beaches of Lebanon. Paragraph 9, we need to have a comprehensive scanning, comprehensive means complete, of the whole coast from, according to him, from Tripoli until Naura, okay? Testing the water in 25 spots is not sufficient, Abi Rashid said. Besides, it is crucial, very important, to examine the extent of pollution in the areas where we have a sewage pipe, dirty water, and garbage dumps like Burj Hammoud dump site, for example. Isn't there a beach, a coastline near Burj Hammoud? There is. Have you tested the waters? I mean, they should go and test the water, see the amount of toxins present there. Paragraph 10, the government should give a special budget for regular scanning of the seawater. Ideally, this is what should happen. We cannot have a study every 3 years, especially after the garbage crisis. Garbage crisis, you know what has been going on with garbage in Lebanon for 3 or more years. We don't know what we're going to do with our garbage. We don't have recycling plants. We don't have recycling plans also. We just burn them. We dump them near beaches. We dump them in rivers, in seas, but we do not, as a nation. The government does not have a plan of what to do with the garbage, and this is wreaking havoc on our wealth as Lebanese citizens. The situation should be updated regularly, according to Abi Rashid, on a weekly basis. Otherwise, the country will be heading to a slow death. Paragraph 11. The 2015 9-month waste crisis involving uncollected rubbish. This is, by the way, this is ongoing. It's been 5 years now. We don't know what to do with our garbage. Okay, had deteriorating effect, leading to hundreds of illegal dump sites, obviously near beaches, etc. Arfat Idris, president of Operation Big Blue, Hamlat al-Azraq al-Kabir, you heard about that, those who clean the beach periodically in Lebanon, clean and reserve coastal and marine zones, said there are better methods to test sea pollution. For instance, heavy metals and chemicals in the water can only be tested from the sediments at the sea bottom, she said. If we really want to have a more accurate and detailed analysis of the Lebanese seawater, samples should be taken 3 times a day. That's a lot. At different hours also. Different depths, taking into consideration the various sea currents. 12. I doubt that the whole Lebanese coast is polluted, according to Arfat Idris. It is a very complicated matter. It's a very complicated matter that needs a thorough analysis, a careful analysis. What we can say is that the Sea of Lebanon is polluted in certain areas and not polluted in other areas. So Arfat Bazdi is not totally pessimistic. She says there are some safe sites to swim. Okay. Idris contended that the solution is very easy, but it needs political will. We know that our politicians don't want to work much, especially if things are related to the environment. They keep them till the very last, even though they should be a priority. We have 14 wastewater treatment plants, but none of them is operating because the garbage is being used for reclaiming land and making profit. The source of Lebanon's pollution and environmental problems is the corruption of the ruling class. Okay, this is what's happening in Lebanon. It's been going on for more than a year. The riots, the protests, protesting the corruption of the ruling class, the fact that this class of officials has done nothing for the nation or for the people of the nation, has done nothing, absolutely nothing, except make it worse. Paragraph 13, reports about the pollution of Lebanon's sea create a backlash on the tourism sector. Many tourists we know come to Beirut to swim because of the beautiful Mediterranean Sea. Jean Beiruti, president of the Syndicate of Seaside Resort Operators. We registered up to 5% cancellations in recent weeks, notably by Lebanese expatriates in the United States. Okay, after this the garbage issue in Lebanon, many tourists canceled their flights to Lebanon because the situation was miserable. Finally, Abi Rashid called for declaring a nationwide environmental state of emergency. We are in a state of emergency pollution-wise and environmental-wise. We are breathing and swimming in and drinking, and everything around us is contaminated. So something, according to Abi Rashid and every person with common sense, we need to declare an environmental state of emergency. The sea needs intensive and urgent care. It cannot wait, he said. We demand the formation of an environmentalist government where the main criteria for ministers should be environmentally friendly. Well, hoping that this happens soon. The article is very recent, written by Samar Al-Adi in 2018. Okay, this is all for today's lecture. Your assignment will be on page 21. I uploaded it as a worksheet on the drive. Ebook A to D, not long. Remember to refer back to the ebook I sent you. Read, okay? It's from 6 to 17. First of all, you read the selection very carefully with the reading skills, okay? Then you attempt to answer the questions. For any further inquiries you might have, please contact me or prepare your questions for me and ask them during Zoom Live. Take care and bye-bye.